Tangadan man sa madasig nga pagtaas sa kadurhon ka mga kaso kang balatian tuga kang klase kang pagkaan kag pangabuhi, bata man o kun malam, parehas kang pagkasobra sa kabagatan, hypertension, kag hindi aktibo pisikal, ang Food and Nutrition Research Institute kag Department of Science and Technology o kun FNRI DOST bilang pagpakita kang anak kasinsiro sa pagtugro sa mga konsumidores nga Pilipino, ang nagdihon kang sa kataramdan agad magamit kang tanan para sa insakto nga pagpreparar kang pagkain. Diya paagi kang Pingan Pinoy nga ginakabig taramdan sa pagplano kang makapamayad sa ikayong lawas, paagi kang sangkabalanse nga pagkain. Sa ginpatigayon nga DOST FNRI Monitoring Meeting and Media Fora, ginpaathag ni DOST FNRI Science Research Specialist Susan Encarnacion nga ang Pingan Pinoy sangkaplano sa pagpreparar kang pagkain kada kain para sa mga Pilipino nga sa husto ay kaayong lawas.
I know this is quite difficult, but this is one of the government's move to help attain zero malnutrition. So I know that's quite impossible, but we can somehow help improve if we will be following a recommendation. Hindi po, kasi yung Pingan Pinoy, this is our guide for yung normal healthy adults, because we all know that if we have certain medical conditions already, the recommendations might not be the same as this one. Let's say for the diabetics, we all know that diabetics has elevated blood sugar. So the tendency is to reduce, of course, a requirement for rice, and then maybe for yung requirement niya for fruits, because it will even elevate the sugar even more if you give them higher amounts of carbohydrates or higher amount of fruits. So this Pingan Pinoy is hopefully, if we will be following this, we will not be included to the group wherein they have this, we call lifestyle diseases. So we can avoid lifestyle diseases if we will just be following Pingan Pinoy early on in life.
Ginpaathag ka dyan nga kung ano ang ginarepresentar ka mga pictures nga makita sa Pingan Pinoy.
Actually, sabi nila hindi naman daw half. Hindi equally divided. So it's true, it's not actually equally divided. Why? Because the plate is divided into two, with the half containing yung recommendation natin for glow, which is vegetables and fruit, but you'll see that the representation for vegetables is bigger. So kaya hindi siya divided equally. Because our recommendation for vegetable intake is really more compared to fruits. Kasi why? Medyo mataas pa ang sugar, di ba? Mas mataas pa ang sugar kung ang recommendation natin for fruits is bigger. So, kailangan lang natin yung fruits, but we still recommend you eat more vegetables. And for the other half, we have rice and then yung fish. Ginamit natin fish. Bakit kaya fish at hindi chicken or pork yung nilagay natin? Kasi dun sa National Nutrition Survey namin, we found out that it is still the most common food pattern. Because nga, it's more accessible, it's cheaper compared kung meat siya or chicken. So, that's why we have placed fish as a sample for our growth or our protein requirement. Okay, next. So we didn't also forget to put a glass of water, because sometimes what we forget is that we need to keep hydrating our bodies with fluid. So water yung ginamit namin dyan. Of course, it doesn't stop you from drinking other beverages other than water. But since water is 0 calories, and ito yung talagang kailangan natin, that we should be filling up our bodies, especially if it's too hot kung summer, and even hindi naman summer, we still need to keep hydrating our bodies with fluid. And of course, to make it more Pinoy, we use the banig design. Banig siya kasi parang Pinoy na Pinoy yung dating. So, why the orange colors for kids? Because we believe that orange color evokes energy, vitality, cheer, excitement, warmth, and adventure. So these are the typical characteristics of children, and that's why we thought of using yellow in the Pingan Pinoy for kids. Next. So this is how we should be filling our plate. So I do not know if we have kids this age, but at least this will be our guide on how we should be preparing our plates, maybe for our brothers and sisters. So as I've mentioned earlier, there are different requirements for these different age groups. Though they are all kids, you'll see that the requirements for the 3 to 5 years old is much lesser compared to the 6 to 9 and the 10 to 12. So as the children grows older, you'll see that the recommendation for Go, Grow, and Glow also increases. So when kids are 3 to 5, the requirement for rice and alternatives is 1/2 cup. When they become 6 to 9, it now becomes 3/4, and then for 10 to 12, it's now 1/2 cup. And the same thing for the other food groups. So you can use this as a guide in preparing foods for your children or grandchildren or brothers and sisters. And your guide will just be, it increases.
Sudo pa ka inkarnasyon nga wara man it problema sa pagkaan kang snack sa aga kag hapon. Ginpatag pa kadyang hindi dapat magtalang sa nag-existeran nga daily nutritional pyramid for Filipinos nga nauna rin gindihon kang FNRI tingad nga sanda ang may tuhay nga tinutuyo.
For those who are not yet familiar, this is, maybe you have seen this in health centers or in other magazines. And as I've mentioned earlier, many were asking if this will replace the Pingan Pinoy. And we answer them, no. Why not? Because DNG pyramid, this is our recommendation on a daily basis, okay? So ito po yung requirement natin for a day. But for Pingan Pinoy, that's our recommendation on a per meal basis. So ibig sabihin, ito po yung sa Pingan Pinoy, this is what you will follow for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. While this one will be your guide on the total requirement that you need for the entire day. So they complement each other. That's why PP or Pingan Pinoy is not intended to replace the daily nutritional guide pyramid. Okay, next slide. So Pingan Pinoy is a reminder on how we should be filling up our plate with the right amount.
Ang DOST FNRI ang nagpreparar kang Pingan Pinoy para sa nagkalain-lain nga population groups parehas ka mga kabataan, teenager, nagabusong kag nagapasuso nga mga nanay kag mga kamalaman.
The amount only. And then for the adults, we use the brown color. See now, this is the color of our Filipino Malay race. Okay, so yan. Yan yung meron tayo dyan. Okay, so you'll see also the male adults is more food requirements compared to their female counterpart. And it's the same for the Go, Grow, and Glow. And then, yan din po, ito naman fried bangus. Yan. So, we have given you the placemat and you can use that as a guide. Okay, then, yun po. So, pwede rin mag-snack. Ito niya, padami ng padami. Kanina ilan lang yung kamote, ngayon madami na. And then, of course, for our elderly, it symbolizes, we use the red color because it symbolizes energy, power, and courage, and give the user vigor and strength. It is also known to stimulate appetite. We know that our elderly sometimes have difficulty eating because they have lesser appetite already. So hopefully, this will be our guide so they can still maintain good health. Okay, so there's also less requirement for female, even for the elderly. For the male or elderly, it's one cup of rice. For the female, it's only 3/4 po. And the same goes on. Okay. Next. Okay. And then for the last group, for the pregnant and lactating, we chose the green color because it is the universal color of nature. It's symbolic of new life, growth, and fertility. Okay. So for the pregnant and lactating, of course, mas malaki yung requirement because they are nourishing a baby inside and the other one naman is lactating, no? So yan yung requirements nila. It's almost the same. Yan. And then, sandali lang. Go back. So, yan. Yan yung kasi di ba may additional 300 kilocalories ang pregnant, and then for the lactating, meron tayong additional 500. Yan. So, if you'll see the difference here, other than the amount also increases, there is a recommendation for a glass of milk. So, since they are pregnant, they are lactating, we are also recommending them to take milk other than keep on hydrating themselves with water. So, for this specific age group, we are recommending that they should drink milk. Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, this is the food guide, the Daily Nutritional Guide Pyramid or the DNG Pyramid for the different age groups. So, for those who are familiar, this is how it looks like. And
Kaimo kay Erwin Icarce para sa Balita Lakayan Update, Joy Petron Vego.